What is communication?
Communication is the interaction between two or more people with the purpose of conveying a message or a concept. It's a process of creating and sharing ideas, information, views, facts, feelings from one place, person, or group to another, expressing thoughts verbally, visually, or written, listening, looking, or reading with the goal of understanding.
There are three components: verbal, nonverbal, and paraverbal. Verbal communication is the use of words to share information with other people. It includes both spoken and written communication. It is also the words we choose. Nonverbal communication is the transmission of messages or signals through a nonverbal platform such as eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, posture, and the distance between two individuals. It is our body language.
Paraverbal communication. It is the messages that we transmit through the tone, pitch, and placing of our voices. It is how we say something, not what we say. Verbal. The content of our message, the choice, and arrangement of our words. Nonverbal. The message we send through our body language. Paraverbal. How we say what we want to say, the tone, pacing, and volume of our voices.
Let's consider these scenarios.
Human error ang isa sa pangunahing dahilan ng mga aksidente sa kalsada. Ito'y batay sa tala ng Metro Manila Accident Record.
Human error ang isa sa pangunahing dahilan ng mga aksidente sa kalsada. Ito'y batay sa tala ng Metro Manila Accident Recording.
We use these components for the sender to have clear and concise message in order for the receiver to understand the message correctly.
The two phases of communication. The transmission phase. The sender. The sender is the one who will send the message to a receiver or a group he wants to communicate. Encoding. Encoding is the process to translate words and symbols into a message. When a message is encoded, it will be sent to the recipient via a medium. A medium is a channel by which an encoded message is conveyed to a receiver, such as phone call or a letter.
Feedback phase. The receiver. The receiver will become the new sender. The receiver chooses the message to deliver to the original sender, encodes it, and sends it via a selected medium. The message is a confirmation that the original message was received and understood.
How many times have you presented an idea to a group?
but they just don't seem to grasp the idea you are talking about.
What's the problem here? Miscommunication.
Miscommunication is the inability to communicate correctly and sufficiently.
The instances of miscommunication vary from scenario to scenario and people who are part of it. This causes frustration and confusion.
And this does happen pretty easily. Let's take a look at these several scenarios for how miscommunication does happen and how we can deal with them.
You see, the problem here in this scenario is not fully listening. We tend to focus a lot on talking that sometimes we forgot that listening can be just as important. It's important that both parties want to listen to each other and give their full attention.
When you listen to someone, put the focus on them. Avoid being distracted by your own thoughts, playing with your phone, or other distractions. Give them the attention you'd want if they were listening to you.
Okay, class. Based on papers we passed at the last meeting, you just have to punt on those and think of another strategy. Your ideas won't scale. Don't burn the ocean by sticking it on them.
Excuse me, ma'am, but I cannot understand what you're talking about.
The problem in this scenario is with the presenter. The speaker made use of difficult words which the receiver cannot fully understand. Instead of using complicated words, use words your audience can understand and feel comfortable with.
Always choose your words carefully when you're presenting. Always try to simplify your message and bring your sentences to the simplest degree to avoid ambiguity in your messages. Do not include vocabulary that can be difficult for the receiver to understand. Using technical terms, jargons, or abbreviation can create misunderstanding if the decoder is not familiar with those terms. The simpler the message, the higher probability of understanding it. There's no point of using deep and difficult words if the receiver cannot decode the message completely.
Ikaw din naman na ginagawa mo ang gusto mo. Eh ba't kami hindi pwede? Wala akong ginagawang masama! Akala mo lang wala! Pero meron!
As we all know, empathy is the ability to understand another person's thoughts and feelings. In this scenario, we can see that there is a lack of empathy for both parties. This may come naturally to some, but it can be difficult for others.
To avoid miscommunication and arguments, we must choose the right time to discuss the problem. Let things calm down first in the heat of the moment before sorting out an issue. If you're willing to be open, you can really hear the other person and see where they are coming from. In that case, listen carefully and give the other person time to explain what the issue is or how they are feeling.
Hey, where are you?
I'm inside the jeep. I'm almost there.
Can you buy some eggnogs along the way so that we can have something to eat later?
What?
I said, can you buy some eggnogs?
You want me to eat some hot dogs?
No! I said, buy me some eggnogs.
Oh, buy some hot dogs.
Eggnogs!
Hot dogs. Oh, you know what? Just text me.
Okay. As you can observe, the problem here is the communication barrier between both parties. There is a noise in the communication process. It creates a distortion of the message and prevents them from being understood. It can take their attention away from the content of the communication and make it difficult to understand. In these cases, noise may be a barrier to effective communication, causing problems. The speaker and listener must overcome the noise barrier by eliminating noise pollution or changing their method of oral communication.
After seeing and hearing these scenarios, now it's possible to reach agreements more easily, discuss opposing viewpoints, and turn miscommunication into effective communication.